Hello everybody, this is LittleMissSwan. I'm your host Miranda, and today's going to be another different type of video, and it's going to be one that's very hard for me to make. I guess like one page is not really enough to explain what's been going on. Sorry if it feels like I'm reading off a script, it's because I kind of am, because if I just freely talk, I think I'm going to break down and word vomit, so sorry if I'm looking at all different types of directions. So for the past year, my mental health has been very much up and down, especially with sobriety, and during that time, especially in January, I met my partner Chris. It was during that January that I was still sort of getting over a very tumultuous breakup with my ex, who was domestically abusive and horrible in the worst way possible. I call him Voldemort for a reason. And during that time, Chris helped me heal. We were the best of friends, basically joined to the hip. We met under very awkward and weird circumstances, no sort of casual meet cute, to say the least. But it was in a place of healing. Chris protected me from what I was going through. He never left my side through it, and he would make sure that no one would hurt me again. He held my hand through everything, and also quite literally held my hand through everything too. When I met Chris, he instantly caught my eye. I remember him walking into the lounge area where I was staying at the time, and I was just mesmerized by his cheeky little smile. Like, he was very shy and nervous, but as soon as he sat down next to me, I don't know, I just felt those like sparks. Like, if anyone has seen Heartstopper, you know those little cute little butterflies that fly around, like representing, like, I guess, a connection between us. In the lounge, we were actually playing Smash Bros with a few other people, and I completely suck at it, so I let him take control of my blue controller, and he basically dominated it, and we won as a team. Well, mainly him, but I took some credit. Where we were staying, we had to do this thing called a life journey, where you basically say where you were at birth to how you came to being now, your struggles in between, and what you can do to help yourself in the future. And I was privileged enough to read Chris's life journey before he said it to everyone else. More so because he wanted me to edit it so he didn't repeat himself, and also, boy, that guy didn't know how to use grammar at all, so I was fixing that because I'm an English nerd, so I had to correct punctuation because it was driving me insane. While he was putting the finishing touches together while we were doing our classic movie nights, which happened pretty much every single night, he would infamously steal my candy that I bought from this place called the Chocolate Cafe across the road, and I'd only let him steal the candy that I liked because, well, of course I had a crush on him, so like it was a way of sharing my affection. So maybe I sort of bribed him into liking me. I don't know. Maybe that's just a theory, but it was something that we connected over. But that night in particular, I remember I brought my pillow into the lounge, which was a mistake because as soon as my head hits the pillow, I am dead asleep to the world. No one can wake me up. So I fell asleep during the movie. He finished writing the rest of his life journey, and he watched over me as I slept because I tend to have night terrors. So if it looked like I was being restless in my sleep, according to him, he sat down right next to me and just sort of put his hand on my shoulder to reassure me that I was going to be okay. And when I finally woke up, he even said to me, I was tempted to carry you to bed, but I didn't know if that was going to be appropriate at the time. Chris and I have what is called BPD, or borderline personality disorder. So there are nine traits. I've got 7 and Chris had all 9. I will link a description where you can find out more information about that, as well as other mental health services such as BeyondBlue, HeadSpace, and anything to do with that. Basically, a summary of what BPD is, it's where your emotions are very hard to regulate. Like, everything's very heightened. Like, for example, if you're feeling sad, you're extremely depressed. Or if you're feeling happy, you're over the moon. It sort of presents itself as bipolar, but there are many, many other traits to it as well. One sort of symptom that starts to show that you've got BPD is where you sort of are a chameleon when you go into a room. Like, you can fit your personality to fit the room. Like, if everyone else is having a great time, even if you're not exactly feeling the best, you can present yourself like you're having the best time in the world, And if someone is feeling very, down or, sad or anything like that, BPD also comes with extreme empathy. So you feel what the other person is feeling, but to an extreme extent where it affects you personally as well. Things can become very overwhelming at times, especially when the deep, dark thoughts sort of come into your mind. Like one of the traits is being suicidal, for example. I luckily don't have that trait. I've had suicidal ideations, which means like I've thought about it, but I've never enacted on it. Thank God. It's sort of like a tunnel vision, like you can't escape it, and it's like nothing can help you. And that is why it's good to seek a therapist about this. I don't like to use the word control, as it brings out my OCD tendencies, which comes from, I guess, BPD, but also CPTSD. There's a lot of things I'm diagnosed with. I'm just a little, confetti balloon full of fricked up stuff. But I like to use the word manage instead. I try to manage my BPD and other diagnoses as best as I can, but with Chris, he couldn't manage them as best as we thought. So mid-October of this year, 2023, Chris took his own life. It took me by surprise because I thought he was doing so well. He was originally from Adelaide, but moved down in August to be with me. So we were doing long distance for a good few months. He got a new job, reconnected with old friends from here. The transition was a bit hard for him, and I knew that and he knew that, but we did the best that we could. But I guess managing all the diagnoses plus sobriety, it all became too much. Chris's sister Katie has actually been participating in Movember, even though she obviously can't grow a mustache or anything like that. She's donating and anything, so I highly recommend everyone donating to the cause. So I'll link that in the description as well. Chris's family has been an absolute gem with me. I would never ask for better in-laws, to say the least. They knew about my struggles as well, but fully accepted me for that, and knew that Chris and I together, maybe it was not a good idea, maybe it was, but it ended up being a really, really good thing for both of us. We held each other up when we could. He helped me like 99% heal from my domestic abusive relationship beforehand. And he was my guardian angel, and now spiritually he is too. I love him so much, and I don't want to use the word loved because that means he's gone. Chris and I had this undeniable chemistry from the start, like we were bound to one another. I still believe that to be true in some ways. Like there's a tether in my heart that's always pulling and connected, and I think that's him. If anyone has seen Daisy Jones and the Six Wishes, a show and a book, which I actually showed Chris and he absolutely loved it. But if you know, you know, but he was the Billy to my Daisy. Both very, very troubled in our own way, but the bond that we shared, like nothing could come between it. Like we made each other better in some ways. I know it's been a long time since I've made any videos or anything like that, but I know Chris would have encouraged me to make it, because when I talked about making videos a couple of years ago, he saw how much I enjoyed it, and even though he said that it was a little cringe at times, he would laugh along with me and just make me feel happy about my creativity, just as he was a creative self, as well, like with his music and just everything. One thing